Here is my lesson on ancient Egypt that I created in the Nearpod app. The students will log in using this pin code, and they'll be able to access it through iPods or any other mobile device. So after the students sign in, we come here and here's my cover, Ancient Egypt. There is a YouTube video that the students will watch about Egypt and how it was built. Unfortunately, with the Nearpod app, I wasn't able to use the Zaption video that I had produced. What I did add was a quiz that had questions that was on the Zaption, and the students will answer them and they'll record them in here, which is nice. This is a multidisciplinary lesson that I created with the hopes of it being used globally at BOCES. And what I tried to do is include standards that would be used in science, social studies, English, and art. My hope is that if a teacher was going to use it, they would be able to elaborate on whatever their specialty was in the field. So the stones used in the pyramids were made out of limestones, and now we come up with facts about limestones and sedentary rocks. Then the students will now take what's called a virtual field trip. Using the iPods, this photo here is a 360-degree photo, so the students can walk around and explore. If I was going to do it as the art teacher, I would focus over here on the rocks, talk about texture, structure. Somebody from social studies may want to look at the dress of the people. You can zoom in and look. What is nice about this feature is that each student has that iPad and they're personally connected to the lesson, and they're able to move it around and look at it and get their own feel of the field trip. This is a teacher-directed presentation, so a student couldn't move on to the next spot. They'd have to wait for the teacher to then advance the photo or the frame of the picture. So now we're going to take a look from the outside. Again, this is another 360-degree view, and you can zoom around, you can look at the sky, you can look at the sand, and all that other stuff. Very, very cool. This was another thing we would talk about the desert biomes, what is a desert, what survives in it. So sometimes students will think that nothing grows in the desert, which isn't true, that there are plant life and animal life that can survive in the desert. And now we'll get into the pharaohs and queens and kings, and we are going to explore the tomb of Ramesses VI. So these are other open-ended questions that will get the kids involved if they can answer who or what is a pharaoh, what does a pharaoh do. What I liked about the Nearpod app is that it was very easy to use. It made these really cool graphics. You could just drag and drop these pictures in here, and then you add your type and whatever else, whatever information you wanted to give to the students. But it was, I really thought it was a nicely done app. You can also add videos, texts, pictures. They also gave you some leads like this, some background information, which was cool. I also included a map so that they could see, where is the Valley of the Kings are over here, while the pyramids and the Sphinx are up here. So while we looked at the pyramids up here, now we're traveling down here to the Valley of the Kings where the tombs were. So we're going to go in and explore those. Again, if I was teaching social studies, I might go into the reading a map, location, how to do that. So now we're gonna take a look. We're gonna go inside the tomb of Ramesses, and we're gonna look around at the walls, and we'll look more at the artwork in here. So again, this is another 360-degree photograph, and the students will then take a look at it. The next part we'll be looking at is the hieroglyphics and the pictures on the walls, which are telling a story. So again, here we look at it. There should know that the pictures tell a story. The signs and symbols stand for things. This is another feature which is really nice. The students can type it in and write it, and then it appears up on the board for everybody to see. Keeps the kids engaged. So now we're going to take a closer look at the tombs. This one is a slideshow that's in it, so the students are able to then, on their own iPad, go look and try to figure out what the story is being told by making observation. So if a student would say to take this, the next part of the lesson is that they're going to do a writing piece. They're going to tell me what's going on in this story. They can say, perhaps this person is the king and he's hunting fish or birds, whatever that is, for the people on the boat, or whatever the story is. What I found while I was practicing this with my own iPad is I have students that have visual problems and hearing problems, and when they have that iPad you're holding it so close, you're able to really connect with it, engage with it, and it's a much better experience. Rather, you're looking at that painting yourself instead of looking across the room at a board when there's other people distracting you. So I think it's a really good application for special ed kids because they are able to kind of take ownership of it and hold it and look at it. And I think that it really is a really good tool for a special ed class. All right, so here's my writing piece, which was then this would be the English part of the lesson. So you're going to write a story about what is being told in the painting. I always give the kids things to think about because a lot of times if they stare at a blank paper or a blank screen, it might be hard for them to come up with some ideas. I've done this. This is always part of my do now in the morning as I give them some kind of thing, artwork to look at, think about, write. And you'd be very surprised that how creative they can become if they feel like they're not going to be wrong. So, I say, who is this person? How do you know? How do you know anything about this person? What is happening? How is the story going to end? What position does that person hold? What about his dress? What about the things around him? So it's a good start to a story. Then this part of the Nearpod app is very cool also. The students will be able to draw on it too. So then, people could take pieces of it and bounce off and make it more of their own.